Good evening, everyone. This is Henry Gambell with SimplerOptions.com, and in tonight's free video, I wanted to look at a couple of ideas where I really feel like you're looking at these charts and you're either playing these individual equities thinking that the overall pattern is going to continue to play out, which, Microsoft may not be the easiest one to look at, but like when I look at a chart of Google, I'm looking at this for the potential to continue to head lower. Especially if you take out the lows that we put in yesterday, the squeeze could fire short, and I think that goes right in line with the idea of XLK heading short. These price patterns are still bearish. The immediate trend is still bearish. But when you come back in and look at signals like what you're seeing here in the put-call ratio, you're acknowledging that we're not the only people looking at this saying, oh, this is bearish. Everyone is bearish. So I like using a 10-day simple moving average on the put-call ratio. And when you measure this against where we are now versus where we've been over the course of the past year, this is the highest level that we've seen. So, you've just got a lot of people that are going into this to the short side. And I think that if the sentiment, once everybody is bearish, then the idea is left is the only thing that it can do is go up from there. So if that starts to take hold, I'm instead going to be focusing on plays where you're getting squeezed to the long side, and names like Boeing will be a few of these that I would like to look at for buying opportunities, and then kind of a little bit more off the beaten path. Also might be worth looking at KSS. Not telling you that this is something you want to buy and hold forever, but could we take this squeeze on the daily and weekly chart and come up and make a new high? I think it's some opportunity. So these are a couple things to be looking at as you get into tomorrow. Once we get the results from the election, we may have to paint another picture depending on what we've got, but this is what I'm looking at as we head into those numbers, and what I'll be focused on tomorrow. We'll update all of that once we get Wednesday's session behind us.
Hey guys, this is John, and I want to show you a couple things real quick. Yesterday I had Dylan and then Avery. Dylan's my 8-year-old, Avery's my now 11-year-old in the office, and I had them each do a futures trade. And it was poor Dylan. He did one where he got in, and the trade is that he set it up with 3 contracts. He had 2 trades, one on the NASDAQ, one on the S&Ps, and so he got in with a 3 lot, and the idea was, a $500 stop loss, and in this case, about a $500 target, so a 1-to-1 risk-reward ratio. And for about 35 minutes, as soon as he got in, it was underwater, and it got down to about minus $300. You can see he's just chewing on his iPad there, like, oh my gosh. Because there's a real, we track this. He gets 20% of the profits if he wins, and if he loses, he's got to make that up before he gets more. So it's very real for him. Like, the pressure is real. He had anxiety. He's looking at the chair. And then ultimately the trade worked out. So I wanted to show you what the setup was. And then he actually also did it on the S&Ps as well. So what happened here, and it's and of course at the time it's a little cleaner because I took this snapshot a little late, but the idea was, his plan was he's going to buy that pullback to the 30-minute pivot. It's one of my favorite things to do on the S&Ps. So it came down, and he started to get in. And it went down a good solid 2.5, 3 points from there, and it was down there for a while. For a kid, that's forever, right? And then I told him his target: if you're buying the 30-minute pivot, then your target is going to be, either that 60-minute upper or the 30-minute upper, or if you get an overbought reading. So he's watching. He's like, oh my God, can I get out? I'm like, no, you need to follow your plan. And so he did, and then it got up here, and it actually got overbought, and he got out. And so, yeah, he got his $262 on the S&Ps. Gets 20% of that, and then the $500-something on the NASDAQ. So it was great, and it was a good lesson for him, and just patience and all that kind of stuff. And then a trade that I saw on this was that on Boeing, we had come down, we had pushed through that 30-minute pivot, and I was like, gosh, I missed that. Here we are at $363. It's up $8. But then we kind of came back to the 10-minute lower, and that's kind of a scalping, at least an entry. And then the idea is to hold on to it from there. So now today we can see Boeing continues to grind higher, and it's like, okay, do I get out here at the 60-minute upper? But actually what I'm looking at here is this bigger swing trading chart. I'm actually looking to see if we can get up to the daily upper. So this is how I structure this, and this is my live P&L on this trade. So I don't want to use the drawing tool because it'll freeze it up, but you can see that it's moving, So this is a live chart. So it's, yeah, there we go, bid ask. So I've got the longer term, well here, I'll highlight it. So the longer term 45-day options, okay, I want to hold on for that upper band where the target was $377. Okay, so that's still $10 away. And then for the shorter term trade, I can look at those 2-hour upper bands, and for that, I did the 360, 365 call debit spread at 247, and then I'd anticipate being able to get out at about $4. And for this one, of course, if we get to 377, the deeper in the money, which is longer out, okay, because it's a straight call, then, you know, probably be able to get out of that about $34 or so, if, of course, we hit that target. So what is this? All right, so what these tools are is part of the most recent workspace bundle. I already taught the class. However, there is a limited window where you can still get the indicators and learn how to use them with me. Tomorrow on Thursday, I'm going to do live trading, and I'm going to show you the exact trade setups I'm showing my 8-year-old to trade the ES and the NQ. Plus, you can also, if you don't trade futures, you could do that on SPY and QQQ. Okay, it's a super simple setup using these tools, and it's, you know, it's Dylan can do it on his own now, which is awesome to watch. So if you go to simplertrading.com/tools, and I'll scroll down here, these are the tools that he's using. So there is the multi-range indicator that shows the overbought and oversold real time. So this is a 30-minute chart, but I can see overbought and oversold from the 30-minute, from the 60-minute, from the 120-minute, from the daily. So you essentially get to see multiple time frames at once, which is why this is such a valuable tool. And then the multi-snap indicator shows you these different moving levels based on Bollinger Bands that give you perfect entries, okay? If you want to buy them separately, it's $5.97 for the multi-range and $3.97 for the multi-snap. That's how they're going to be in our store. For right now, you can get both of these at $597, and then you can still join us for live trading on the 7th, which is tomorrow, from 1 to 3 Central. Okay, now, we also did live trading on Thursday, November 1st. That's okay. If you missed that, you can see the recording. And if you can't do that, you can still get the recording, and then you'll be able to see how to do these live. All right, so anyway, that's going to be pretty awesome. And if for some reason you're newer and you're like, wow, I've seen you use these tools and I want all of them. All right, so this is the pinpoint bundle. That's the one I just talked about. You can scroll down. You'll see that there's a workspace bundle. This has all the key indicators that I use. And again, it's a kind of a rare opportunity to get them at a significant discount. But that's what I got. Again, if you're just seeing this, you're thinking like, wow, I'd like to learn what Dylan, the 8-year-old, is doing to make money trading futures. Just get the pinpoint bundle. You can always look at the other stuff later. Anyway, it's going to be a lot of fun. All right, see you guys there.